Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. As promised, we are going to talk tires and educate you on what's going on at Continental Tires. And we have been joined by Maro Robelo, who lives for tires. At least that's what you told me, Marco. And I think that's pretty cool. You were out testing, I know, driving on the track and testing some tires. And there's a lot of technology that goes into tires. First, tell us a little bit about what you do and what your title is at Continental Tire.
So just like you said, people say I work with tires. That's what they say. I don't know if I really do. But I've been working for Continental for 8 years now. I started my career as an engineer when I graduated from Georgia Tech in 2013. Moved to Germany immediately after I graduated, worked for them over there in the several departments. I started with commercial tires, and it was small commercial tires with van, which is the combination of high speed and high load, which is very interesting because you don't see that often.
Right.
And then after that, I had a project, an assignment in South Africa, introducing off-road tires, and that's how I got introduced to off-road, and it's what brought me to the US, even though we're talking about UHP today. Then I went back to Germany and I did all the ultra high performance tires for Fiat, Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, the FCA group.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2017, I moved to the US. And since then, I have been working with the engineering of many off-road tires and also the motorsports industry. And that's why we have this baby today that it's freshly introducing to the market. And it's our first 200 UTQG. Not our first. We have had one before. It was not a 200 UTQG. But it's our recently launched 200 UTQG tire.
Well, I'm going to show some pictures here of treads, right? We've got 3 tires we're going to talk about. And the one you have right there is what's called the Extreme Contact Force, right? And that is
correct.
And that is like a track tire, basically, right? But it can be used on the street, some as well.
That is correct. So it's a DOT-approved tire. You can use it on the streets. You can use it as your daily driver. There's a reason why it's called a 200 UTQG. There's a specification. They want to make the racing industry more competitive and that people from any financial income can join and doesn't have the restriction of someone coming with a super fast tire. So the 200 UTQG is a DOT tread life or wear approval. If you go lower, the tire is more sticky. So they kept it at 200 UTQG so that the tire can have a standard. And we did it this way so that we can participate in all the autocross events, all the races that require this tire. And also that you can drive it not on your daily driver. You can, if you want, you're going to wear it faster because they wear faster. But you can drive it on your car on the normal roads. And you can also take it tracking anytime you want.
Now, can we assume that that the composition of the tire and the tread would not particularly be great in wet or cold conditions?
For cold conditions, I would not recommend this tire to take it on winter conditions. That would be not optimal.
Good phrase.
Yes. So, and second, we recently tested with Tire Review. Tire with a Y. It's a British channel. We're very close to them, magazine testing. And the wet performance was impressive for a semi-slick tire. So you can use it on a wet, depending on how thick is the film. So I'm not going to tell you to go aquaplaning with this tire, but if it rains slightly, you can still use it. But just like you said, sorry again.
Yeah, that is better than I would have expected.
Yeah.
For a tire that looks like I would use it on the track.
So I'm gonna get closer to the tire. The tire is interesting because it has 2 very wide longitudinal grooves in the center, and this is what helps it throw the water from the aquaplaning out. And you also have these grooves on the shoulders that help for the water exit as well.
Right, they're pushing the water out.
It is a semi-slick, but it has a lot of engineering into it. So it's not optimal for rain, but you can handle the rain.
Got you.
Great.
Now,
Great.
for our audience, tell us about those stripes that are in the center. Are they where?
Oh, that's very interesting. So the stripes are basically, it's like a serial code, a barcode on the tires.
Mm-hmm.
When we produce tires, for example, this tire will be a yellow, yellow, purple, purple. And in the plant, it identifies the tread because the tread goes in the tire, and we produce all the treads at the same time, and we put them on storages. So then they know that the yellow, yellow, purple, purple goes into this specific tire that is a 245, 40, or 17. So it's a barcode for the tread to go in the specific tire. And the machines identify the colors and know that the tread is going to the right tire.
It's sort of like a build sheet for cars. You know, when a car comes down the line, they have a list of everything that goes into it, and you want to make sure that the right stuff comes in there. You know, the other thing, Marco, is that I noticed when I was looking at the Continental site, you have a rim protector built into these tires, which is great. And what is that? That's like the little ridge that's on the side of the bead, I guess, right?
Yes, we do. So, by the way, the size of this one is a 225, 45, or 17. I was testing another tire this week, and I was confused with that size, but this is a 225, 45.
45.
The protection flange is, and I always say, seeing the tire is way better than actually explaining without it. So you see this edge here?
Mm-hmm.
So most tires have a rim protection flange. Then this is for you when you, first of all, it protects the tire itself because it has a thicker amount of rubber on the sidewall. When you hit a curb or something, hopefully you're not hitting curbs. You don't want anybody
It happens, though. It happens.
But it happens. And then it also protects your wheels, especially when you're tracking. You put a lot of pressure on that sidewall when you're taking a turn either to the left or the right. So this protects your wheel from getting scratched or damaged.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it protects the tire itself because you have more rubber. And when you hit something, which we don't expect you to do it, and we don't advise you to do it,
right?
Then it's an extra layer of protection as well.
Yeah, that's good. And that's not just on this extreme contact force. That's on some of the other tires.
I don't want to say I don't want to say a percentage, but most of our tires have a flange strip.
Yeah. Yeah, we are talking with Continental's Maro Robelo, the man that lives for tires and tests about it, talking about tire tech. Les, so far we've talked about extreme contact force, and that the idea there, I think you said it so well, Marco, is it's a tire. Let's say you have maybe a Corvette or a Mustang or something like that. You want to do some auto crossing, but you're not a big bucks operation, and you're not going to tow a trailer behind you with other tires. You can drive it to the track with this, do some track time, and then bring it home. And it's good, and that's a good scenario for that.
So also, if you tow a trailer, you can use these tires. So we're in that segment that
wow.
Oh, wow.
For everything. So it sticks to the ground. The way I call the tire in a non-engineering way is it's a sexy, bold tire that puts rubber to the ground for maximum traction.
That's
Les,
amazing.
do you have anything on that? Sexy bald? Do you want to?
No, I can go forever. I can go forever on that one, but I'm not going to get into that topic just today.
All right.
It.
We'll leave
Next tire, please.
Yes. So let's look at the next. That would be, I guess, the next one to talk about is the extreme contact sport, right?
But back to your point, Fred, it is a track tire. Most of the people probably who are enthusiasts and they trailer a Corvette or any high performance vehicle, this is a tire for them. In addition to that, it can be used on public roads.
That's
so great. It is not that it was made to be used in public roads and racing. It was actually made for those people who are real enthusiasts and they want to go race and go to an endurance race, tow their car. But it also has the capabilities for those people who don't have a trailer to take it on the road to their final destination or the racetrack.
It reminds me of a friend in high school. He said, I have racing tires, but they're wearing out really quickly. And I think this was a long time ago. And I think he had Pirellis, and he was sort of proud of the fact that he was using racing tires on the street, but he said they were wearing out really fast. So
Yes,
something like this would have been good for him.
having done that myself years ago with very high performance cars, I wore the tires out driving home.
Because of really soft, sticky
So
rubber. Yeah. But you have we've got a little under a minute in this first segment, Marco. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the extreme contact sport. And when you look at that, that would be, I guess, the middle tire, right?
Yes.
And we'll talk a little bit about that, how that differs and what that's good for. And the great thing is, when you go to buy tires for a performance vehicle, it's a big investment. You want to buy the right tire and the right tread type for what you're doing, and that's what we're trying to help you out with this here. And Marco will be back to tell us more about what Continental's got to offer. So stay tuned to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. We are talking tires, specifically Continental tires. We're learning a lot about treads and different compounds, Les, and it's really important when you go out to buy tires, you know what you're doing. Who doesn't want to be an educated consumer? And we're lucky to have Maro Robelo, who is here and telling us about what's going on at Continental and the different types of treads, and if you have a performance car or maybe it's just your everyday driver, what to get. And we've talked a little bit about the extreme contact force, which is a grippy tire for the track, but it's okay for the street. And Marco, now we want to move on to the extreme contact sport, which is a little bit more of an everyday tire that you can also track, right?
That is correct. So the extreme contact sport is your next step. So like you said, the extreme contact force is a tire that is for the track and you can drive it on the road. Now the extreme contact sport is a tire that you can use on your daily driver and you can track it every now and then. We say if you track 3-4 times a year, you can have the extreme contact sport on your daily driver and go to the track. It's an outperforming tire on the track. It has been in One Lap America. It's the tire that we use for the BMW Performance Driving School.
Wow.
So every BMW in the Performance Driving School that you drive either in Thermal or in South Carolina facility, they all are on the Extreme Contact Sport. So that tells a lot about the tire.
So, for example, this would be a good tire. We use Corvette again, but it's a good car to use because it's one you could track, or it's a touring car too. You can take it on a trip. So maybe if you say, you know what, I take my Corvette to the track every once in a while, but majority of trips I like to take a long drive down to Florida or something, this might be a better bet for you as far as wear and wet performance, right?
With the situation you said, it would be the perfect tire for that. Actually, there's a lot of people with the C8 that they are doing their upfitments or their normal OE fitments with this tire. And like you said, if you're driving down to Florida to take vacation often on your Corvette and enjoying the weather there, and then you want to come up to Georgia and go track over there close to Atlanta, it's the perfect tire for that.
Yeah, yeah. And what makes it better in the rain, let's say, than the Force?
If we go back to the picture, so you see how on this tire we have 3 longitudinal grooves instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are in a thick film of water, let's say it's raining and there's some standing water, then it helps you for your aquaplaning. So it throws the water out of the tread and evacuates all through those water channels that you see through the tire. On the extreme contact force, because you want to put more rubber to the ground to put all that traction on, you have less void. Void is the amount of void that you literally have on the tire. So that's why it is better for wet and aquaplaning.
Yeah.
Obviously you can go pretty high speed on the wet with this tire. I'm not advocating doing that unless you are a good driver, but still, it's an everyday tire. So if you hit, a little rain on the interstate and you're doing 70, it's gonna keep you safe.
That is correct. And in Continental, we focus a lot in wet performance. You encounter when it starts raining situations that you really need the performance of the tire. You need that additional braking power. You need that additional wet handling. And that's why we have had a lot of focus on that through history, the history of the brand. And we use a special compound called the black chili compound. We use it on our tires. We use it on bicycle tires, motorcycle tires, and UHP tires.
We are talking to Maro Robelo from Continental. And so now let's talk about another tire with a different name. It is the DWS06. And that would be the third tire there on the right. Completely different tread. It's got kind of crosshatch. It's actually very kind of artistic looking. Almost looks like the globe or something going around there. Now tell us about this tire. What's the best use for that?
One of our best sellers, like you mentioned, the pattern. People really, really love the pattern. And we just recently launched a couple of months ago the DWS06 Plus, which is this one that you see. We did not deviate too much away from that old DWS06 pattern because how much feedback we had that people love it. This tire is a tire that I would say if you live in north of the US, somewhere that it snows, and you want to have a tire all year long, this is your tire. The reason for it is it has a great snow handling, and it also has that characteristics of a UHP tire. Of course, not as good as the Extreme Contact Sport because by the nature of the tire, the Extreme Contact Sport is a summer tire and it's more sporty. But this is a UHP tire, and it can handle UHP performance. And it has that addition of the winter performance for when you hit a day of snow or you live in a place that you have a winter conditions. So
when you want to take your A8 skiing and put the ski racks on top, you could put on a set of DWS06s because it's still a speed rated tire, but it is good for snow or precipitation, I guess you would say, right, Marco?
I will give you the perfect example. I have a Porsche Cayman S and I have the Extreme Contact Sport because I will never take it up to the mountains to go on a winter day. And then I have my daily driver, which is a 330i BMW, which sometimes when it's snowing, it's good snow here up in the mountains 2 hours away. And I put my snowboard on the back. I have the DWS06 and it performs awesome. I make it there, I make it back safe.
Wow.
And what's the difference in the ride quality between that tire and the previous one? I assume the sidewall is a little more compliant.
So the ride quality, actually, we just tested it again. We knew the performance, but we got it verified by a third party, which is Tire Reviews. And the DWS06 has the best noise and comfort of all three. But the Extreme Contact Sport is very close to it. So for being a summer UHP tire, it has great comfort capabilities.
That's cool. And we should say a summer tire doesn't mean like when it rains you have to go out and take your tires off. It can handle rain. It's just that it's better to not take a tire like that, let's say, into a snowstorm or slush or things like that. Would that be right, Marco?
Yes, that would be right.
Yeah.
You do not want to take this tire on winter conditions. Ice, slush, nose, the Extreme Contact Sport, don't.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Now, go ahead.
Also, there's one more thing, since we want to get geeky or technical here. On UHP summer tires, temperature means a lot. And when you have a big drop in temperature on a tire like this, the Extreme Contact Sport, the compound gets very hard. As you think about it, the more you heat a tire that you take to the track or a summer tire, it has a very good performance because it starts gripping to the ground. So when you're in snow and the compound starts getting harder, then you lose grip.
Right.
It is a summer tire. The name says it all. You're
Right.
not supposed to take it to winter conditions.
We're quickly running out of time here, but where should people go if they want more information on these tires, they want to learn even more? We're not going to give them your phone number because you could fill them in, but where should they go? What's a good website for them to go to?
So there's many websites are there. There's many online tire companies that do testing. There's companies like the one I mentioned, Tire Reviews with a Y, that we're doing a lot of educational videos. We have done a lot of off-road. We're doing this one if you want to decide between a track tire, between a 200 UTKG, summer UHP tire, or all-season UHP tire. And that video is going to be public in 2 weeks. So we're coming more and more and more to educate everybody, because there's a lot of questions. Even myself, when I was not in the tire industry, I asked myself all these questions. And that's why we're coming with more videos. And if you have any requests, you can always contact us. I'm open with my social media, so I'm very connected to the tire industry. My name on Instagram, which is very easy to contact me, is Maro Robelo, and the tag name is M Robelo. Feel free to shoot a message, then I can direct you to right pages. Anything you need, our webpage, online, you can go and check third-party testing, etc.
Excellent. Well, Maro Robelo from Continental, we appreciate it. Lots of great information. We will have to have you back to talk a little bit about more tire talk. So thank you very much. And it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.